Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Sewer Commissioners, April 24th. Time is 6:30. And roll call, please.
Scott Sobey.
Bob Scanlon.
Sandy Slavin.
And Jim Gibberti. And Carrie Pastor is absent. And next
And
week,
Scott Kay.
it's Scott Kay, I'm sorry. Okay, citizens' participation. Anybody out there have anything to offer? I guess not. We have minutes from April 10th. And I believe Sandy has reviewed.
I have reviewed the minutes of the April 10th meeting and find them to be complete and accurate, and make a motion to accept.
Aye, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then,
The minutes of the April 10th workshop, I have reviewed them to find them complete and accurate, and make a motion to approve them as submitted.
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4-0. Thank you. We have two contracts for consideration. The first one is with Pace. And this is an extension with no pricing increases. And this is an extension from June 30th of this year to June 30th of '26.
I have a question about this contract.
Mm-hmm.
Under, where is it? Services. Pace Analytical Services LLC will provide the following good and services as detailed in Addendum 1 attached. I don't see an Addendum 1 attached.
I think that would just be their price list is all it would be.
Well, but it's not attached. So we have no way of voting on this without seeing the addendum.
Well, we're only changing the time frame. We're not changing
No, we're
anything
not
else that had been previously approved.
That's correct.
So this is just to say we're extending the time until 6/30/26, which tells me there's no change in what had been approved prior to this change order.
Agreed.
Can I get a motion on this contract?
I make a motion to approve this contract as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay.
No.
310.
Yep.
Scott K., and your reason is no amendment,
Yeah,
no
so
attachment.
I couldn't vote yes on something I can't see what it says we're approving.
Well, we approved the first one. You just weren't here to see it.
Exactly. Therefore, a no vote is appropriate.
Yeah, because the only thing
Okay,
we
we'll
voted,
record you as a no vote because the addendum was not attached,
Thank you.
and the minutes will reflect that.
Thank you.
now we have a contract not to exceed $20,680 from Mission Communications,
Sorry, what was the dollar amount?
20,000.
I thought you said a different amount.
20,680. And they're a sole source. You don't have another option.
Can you give me a summary of what the contract's for? To say services of their equipment.
Yeah, Mission is our alarm system. So when something goes into alarm, it calls out through the Mission communication system. To replace or to not have Mission there means we replace all the equipment and
No, you've answered the question that they handle the alarm systems. That's what I was looking for, what was their support. Was there a time frame?
It's annual.
Was there a time frame? What is annual?
We just get one bill a year for that much.
So there's no, we don't have, sorry, 2/10/25 through 3/31/26 is the time frame. Is the annual contract. I make a motion, we approve the Vision Communications contract.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
So the minutes will reflect the dollar amount and the date and the time frame of the contract.
Sandy, can you give us an update on what page?
Well, Facebook is
Facebook.
long gone. They
Good.
took care of it a while ago.
Excellent.
So, but what happened is I went down under sewer evaluation. The Beta Wareham Phase 2, which was infiltration and inflow report for the town of Wareham wastewater collection system dated June 2018. Did we do anything with this? Should we do anything with this? Should we update it? I think all of us need to take a hard look at what we have for information as whether or not it's still valid or needs to be updated. 2018, Jimmy, you were here. What was this for?
I can't remember at this particular point. I'd have to look at it and.
This report shall serve to supplement and also to verify the results. Oh, damn it, sorry. Come on, hang up.
Put them on speaker.
You don't want them. They're telling me my gas meter needs to be replaced, which was done a month and a half ago. This report shall serve to supplement and also to verify the results of Phase 1, infiltration and inflow report. I have no idea what Phase 1 is. Completed in 2006 for the Town for Engineering Consulting, Camp Dresser and McKee. The goal of the INI analysis is to make recommendation for future study to develop preliminary recommendations to implement a sewer system evaluation survey, SSES. The goal of the SSES is to identify INI sources and their flow contribution and purpose, and propose a plan to fix it. Okay. Is it still valid?
I would say that that's outdated.
So I would think with all the work that has been done on INI, we need to look to see where we are now. Scott, any comment on it?
We've definitely improved the infiltration.
Oh, you definitely have.
Inflow, but we're still finding spots that need repair, and we go out and repair them. You know, we're not just finding them and noting them. We're actually,
Well, we did all the lining down in Swiss Beach, I'm not talking about the recent
I mean,
pump situation, but we did all that lining on Swiss Beach out
This
to the Narrows pump station to correct some of that.
this report is
INI right
too,
there.
Is there anything on the website that's current within the past 2 years?
yes.
There is.
Yes.
I'd say we keep that and get rid of the rest.
Yep.
Well, let's take a look at what we have for the rest. To me, this is 224 pages from 2018, so if,
They get paid by the page.
I think so. So the question is, do we update it or remove it? Is it giving us false information? If it's giving us false information, we can delete it. Giving us outdated information,
Outdated information, and I say we delete it. That's my recommendation.
I would go along with that. Some of those things that I'm sure that are in there, because I
okay.
don't remember, have already been accomplished.
Since this is a report, we can't take any vote because that's not how the agenda was written. So we should, if we want to make a motion on it, next meeting, it needs to go in as a vote to say yay or nay to keep the Beta INI report from 2018. So you're writing that down?
Is that, wait a minute, who's that report from?
Beta,
I
B-E-T-A.
know, but I thought you said, You mentioned cost doesn't matter.
No, Camp Dresser and McKee. Oh, that's, yeah, that's why cost doesn't matter, okay.
Yeah.
The Camp Dresser in McGee was, the CMD was from 2006. That was the Phase 1. This is a Phase 2 report,
Okay.
updating it from the Phase 1. So we need to put the Beta I&I report from 2018 on the agenda as such for a vote. The next report was from October 19th, 2015, 7 pages long. GHD did it for a capital improvement plan from 2015. What it does, it encloses a 20-year capital improvement plan, CIP, which confusing me since we already have a 2015 capital plan report of, wait a minute, I gotta find it. 243 pages, also under the same website. So this seems to be focusing on just what to do in 3 years, in 6 years, in 10 years, but it's a 2015, and I honestly, folks, we really need to come back with a 20-year capital plan, which is now 20 years old. So guess what?
We do that, and 20 years from now, someone's gonna be asking about whether we should still have it on the website.
I know. So I have no idea what has been done against this plan, what has or has not been done. It has the criticalness, red, yellow, green, not very few green.
Probably not much.
And the cost in 2015, and its proposed schedule. I mean, think about it. Wow, Minot Pump Station, very high, 1.6 million. Did we ever do anything to the Minot Pump Station? Probably not, because I think we got rid of it. That's the one for the school.
This is still in there.
We didn't get rid of it, it's still there.
So, but,
Still operating.
so it goes on. I did not print all 7 pages, but to me, this is a summary of what we have at the 243-page report later on this list. This is all found on the sewer webpage under evaluations, and I'm saying myself, I do think we need to talk about an updated capital plan.
Why don't we get rid of everything that's on the webpage?
Exactly.
What the heck? And then discuss what should be put on the webpage.
Well, you can't do that because one of them is for, was current for our headworks and clarifiers.
Okay, we'll keep that.
That's a year old.
Okay, then we'll keep everything past a year old.
But we can talk, we
current.
need to put it on the
Agenda.
agenda. But I'm just going to go back, I'm going to go back for the other reports. The other one I have is from January 2016, called the Town of Wareham Water Pollution Control Facility Emergency Response Plan. Jimmy, talk to me about that. You were on this.
I don't know what Guy did with it.
I would argue that it's outdated, and no one who visits the website is interested.
Okay, so on the next agenda, please. Emergency.
Send me a list of the things that you want.
I did on an email that I sent to everybody on April 15th.
Well, send me a list of those particular items that you want that you're gonna put on the next agenda to vote off.
Did you,
That's all we're
do
asking.
you no longer have my April 15th email?
I don't know. It's
So,
not my
do we need to update? Do we need to exist? This is also 10 years old. And I want to continue till someone knows we're looking at what it is. The next report that was on there was a Wareham Risk and Vulnerability Assessment from December 2015.
How valid would it still be 10 years on?
It isn't. I don't
You
think,
know-
well, good question. I don't,
So,
they've changed the Since they've changed the mapping and all that, that's probably not valid anymore anyhow. We still got some pump stations with,
Okay, in the last report, which is I made next to the last report, capital improvement plan, water pollution control facility from September 2015, 243 pages. And it just says wastewater infrastructure, age of facility, it goes on and on and on. So that's another one, is the complete CIP report. CIP plan from September 2015.
People may not be done reading it yet.
Okay, the next one was from 2021. And as I said in my email from April 15th, WPCF evaluation and fiscal sustainability plan with a engineering report for denitrification filters and odor control. The fucking thing's in a draft. Do we ever get the final report from GHD? We got a draft on our website. Where's our final report?
I remember seeing that one at all. The draft, yeah, but not the final.
Did we pay them for the report? Then why can't we get a final report? I'm asking you, Jimmy, I don't know.
Don't ask me, I will ask Sarah and find out. I will get an answer from her, find out where it is.
Okay, so we have the GHD
I would think that could probably just come off the website because the filters have been installed.
but I think my point is, why are we have a draft? Did we pay for a final report, and can we get the final report? It's in the draft.
I'm sure we have the final report. We'll make sure we get it.
I was gonna say, you may have it in the office there someplace. I don't remember one being presented to the board as a, but that's not strange under the circumstances.
Well, that's what I came up with, other than they went online and they put in something called an email to sewercommissioners@wareham.ma.us. And I sent it out to everybody saying, did you receive it? The two Scotts received it. Did anybody else get it?
Which one was this, Sandy?
I sent it this afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Oh.
Sewercommissioners@wareham.ma.us. Now,
No.
Seen it.
it's what's on the website. It said to use it now. When I sent this to Matt Underhill in March, sewercommissioners@wareham.ma is not an email account. It is an internal email distribution list.
I didn't get that.
No, I spoke about this earlier, that internal email accounts cannot send to, external email accounts cannot be sent to internal distribution. So my problem is, if that is the case, why is this email on our town website to contact us?
Well, the clerk probably put it on.
The clerk? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Nice try, Jimmy.
That,
I'm not in a good mood right now, I guess you can tell. So this was,
This is new.
I got missed, I know, this is no different what I'm normally doing, but this was very confusing as to, I got one message from Matt, then I go on the website, and I was told that they activated the sewer commissioners, and it goes to nowhere, because every once in a while, someone sent it to us, and we all don't get it. Someone uses it.
that so-called email account was set up May 7th, 2015.
Very
It
good.
was,
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
so that's how long it's been kicking around.
When was it set up on?
May 7th, 2015.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Jimmy,
Wow.
did you find my April 15th email regarding the sewer evaluation?
I did. I found it in mine.
Okay,
I have to
The
set
April
things
15th,
up a
yeah, I
little.
just sent it to Anita to put on the agenda.
okay. So it was just, talks about it names each one of them and the dates, and so that will be at the next meeting. Sorry, that was my
Thank you,
delving into the silly web page.
thank you.
Yeah,
You did
but
that.
I didn't know we had half these things, and Jimmy, they go back to you. That was a long time ago. How long have you been on here? Since the beginning, since it left the
Yep.
selectmen, right?
Yeah.
Since May 2nd,
Yeah, May 2nd,
2015.
2015.
And you gotta
I know.
And you're coming onto this board with absolutely no knowledge of anything and no direction from any place on how to get anything, or what we should even be looking at,
Well, one of them even had your
No.
signature on it.
probably.
Okay,
Okay, the next thing we were gonna have was Kerry, but he is not here.
any idea what he was gonna look at?
Budgeting and looking at long-term for financing for the projects that we're gonna have to get involved with, that we're gonna, spending money on.
So he would be
Ones that
able,
we're involved with now and ones that are gonna come in the future.
also the ones that are funded with our reserve to
Said
make,
with the reserve that we're involved with now.
but from prior years that weren't
that we're
carried forward.
involved with now, and that's a funded project that hasn't gone to shovel to the ground yet.
Well,
Because we've got a funded project, one of the funded projects is the Force Main.
because we have to be
But-
careful. If we don't carry it forward, we
Yeah,
lose the
it-
reserve
that's-
fund.
Exactly.
All right, so Carrie's looking, and the
Yeah, he's gonna
prior
get-
year's not closed, so,
He'll-
okay.
He's getting into that now, so he's aware. Dr. Scott?
I have a very short PowerPoint presentation, and the screen is showing my desktop, sort of,
Oh, I like that.
but I have no control over that. But I don't know why it's not showing my PowerPoint.
Does he live with you?
No.
Oh, you don't have that?
So I am calling,
He's coming.
we need to
On Wareham.
raise your right hand and swear.
Yeah, I don't even say anything.
Oh, that was easy. Oh, I just had to change
Oh.
screens.
Here,
So how am I going to manipulate it then?
You're gonna have to put your cursor up here. There is another thing you can do, but I'm just gonna, you're presenting, right?
Okay. I've been looking at the whole idea of billing, and especially looking at the EDUs and how they're assigned. But I wanted to look first at the data itself. And this comes from a spreadsheet that Bob sent me. That's been very helpful, but there are a number of holes in it that I'm not sure about. So the data that I use for this are the best I could do, understanding that there's some caveats, and I'll have some notes at the end of this. So first of all, I looked at the number of units or houses, whatever, that I could guess were residential. On the spreadsheet, they're either labeled as residential, or, as in the case of like my house, it's not labeled at all. So that's one of the, one of the questions I have is why there are a lot of equal to one EDU, but they're not labeled as residential. And this came from the assessor's office, right? This
Correct.
spreadsheet? Yeah, so they know they're residential, but I'm not sure why on the spreadsheet it doesn't show up as such. Anyway, I did the best I could, and you can look on this table, in the left column is number of bedrooms per unit, and unit would be some kind of a building, either a house or, I think in some cases there might be some commercial properties, but I'm not sure, because none of those things, industrial, commercial, institutional, are on the spreadsheet labeled. So that's a sticking point for this. But anyway, in this spreadsheet, there were 5 buildings with 9+ bedrooms. And I don't know what 9+ means, except for it's more than 9. So that could be 50, it could be 10, I don't know what that means. There are,
Yeah, those are probably all of the apartments.
Motels?
Those were also, well, it could be they're labeled residential, so I'm not sure what they are. Anyway, you'll see I've ignored that in some of the future stuff. But 9 places with, there were 10 places with 9 bedrooms, 7 with 8, and so on. You can look down through there, and you'll see that 3-bedroom residences are, there are 2,019 of those, 1,600 2-bedroom places, and so on. And then I just multiplied that out to see how many total bedrooms were for that kind of unit, and then how many EDUs were borne by that kind of unit. And once again, you'll see that the 3-bedroom places were responsible for most of the EDUs in this, or more than a plurality, more than any of the other kinds of units. So this is kind of the raw data summarized down into a table that I could use for further analysis. And then what I did was I divided the mean number of EDUs per bedroom. And I put this little graph together. So if you look across the bottom, the x-axis, you'll see the number of bedrooms. And in the y-axis, so up the side, I said ADU, but you know what I mean is EDU here, right?
Right.
So this is, and it makes some sense, because if any unit that has 3 bedrooms or fewer, 1, 2, or 3 bedrooms, is charged 1 EDU, you'll see the disproportionate share of the burden by the smaller units, 1, 2, or 3, particularly 1 or 2 bedroom units. And you'll see that the biggest bargain is having 7 bedrooms as far as sewer burden is concerned. And this is as a class. This is not individual houses, but as a class. And then there's a little bit of a rebound for 8 and 9 bedroom units. But you see that overwhelmingly the smaller units, 1, 2 bedrooms, do an unequal share of the. Now, this is not the total EDUs. Remember, the total EDUs are mostly the 3-bedroom units. But this shows the disparity. And then the larger, the places with more bedrooms are not paying nearly as much as the smaller places. And there's just a few notes. So in the spreadsheet, there were 116 units that were not assigned a number of bedrooms or residential. So I don't know what those are. There's no way to tell without looking up the individual address in the spreadsheet of what we're talking about. So that's a little complication. I think there were a total of 4,799 accounts or units in the spreadsheet. And that makes 3,641.11 EDUs. 49 of the units were labeled as residential, but there was no number of bedrooms listed that were greater than 1 EDU. So that's why I thought, well, maybe those are apartment complexes because they're being assessed for more than 1 EDU, but they're labeled residential. I don't know what else they could be. Halfway house, I don't know.
Scott, this data is coming from the assessors?
This is a combination.
Hybrid, yeah, it's coming from both. So I took the spreadsheet from the sewer department of all the sewer users. It was not broken down or delineated by residential or commercial. It's just a list of addresses. And then I got the assessors database, and I matched it. I did match it with the information that they had. A caveat is that they stressed to me that the bedroom information, they really didn't want it to be used for any kind of planning because, I don't know, they had concerns about it. So I just assured them that it's a jumping off point. It just gives us some point of reference.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, the point is that there's some of these places it's really hard to tell what they are. There are 230 units labeled as residential, but no number of bedrooms listed. that are equal to 1 EDU. So if we ever wanted to go to a system where, let's say, the smaller units, 1 or 2 bedroom, especially the 1 bedroom, paid a little bit less, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bedrooms paid a little bit more, we'd have to have that information. And by the way, that's all of that information is available on the website. You just have to, on the assessor's website, you just have to look up the individual cards.
Yeah,
Which would take a
I did not
while.
want to do that, yeah.
I understand. So I don't know why they would be hesitant about sharing that information. They shared a lot of information about number of bedrooms, but there were some holes in it.
Well, number of bedrooms, I mean, the assessor's list goes for taxation, so I would hope that it would be accurate,
Or at least that they would know.
yeah.
We had, we modified the house and reduced from 3 to 2, and we told the assessors, and they changed our tax base, because we only had 2 rooms which had closets in it, which were defined as possible bedrooms.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so we've gone the opposite way. We've gone from 2 to 3, and there's no number of bedrooms for my house listed on the assessors, and I know they know. Because we've seen the assessor's card, you know, I forget what the card's called, but,
Yeah, I don't know why it would show up on the online database and not in the information that they have at Town Hall.
and then the last note I have is that, well, I've got one verbal one, but there were 344 units with no number of bedrooms listed, not residential, but equal to 1 EDU. So those could be commercial places. They could be residential, but just without the number of bedrooms.
An office building, an office?
It's possible that they were assessed 1 EDU. I just don't know. So if we ever wanted to modify our system where, you know, like the town I've presented before, where they do the residences all by EDUs and the commercial and industrial and so on by some other kind of formula, we'd have to know every single one of those. I think Scott would have to spend some weekends going through everything to make sure that spreadsheet was filled out correctly. And then the other thing is there are a number that are listed as 0 bedrooms. I think that's back here. Yeah, there are 11 units that are 0 bedrooms. And the 11 units pay 60.5, but they're listed as residential. So I don't know if those are studio apartments or,
One of
I
those
don't
may
know.
be Alan's bedroom in the garage.
Well, I was thinking of the garage.
yeah. So, like I say, it's kind of hard to understand what's going on in some places. Some places the spreadsheet's great, but some places, and you know, someone who has always relied on data, and especially accurate data, to make decisions from, it's kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, are there any questions about this little spreadsheet? I mean, PowerPoint?
Is there, should we take a look at a couple addresses in each one of the situations where there are inconsistencies, to see if we can find some type of hint as to what might be making up this resident EDU, no residence bedroom? I mean, take a couple of samples and just say, okay, now I understand why that's a possibility.
Yeah, I tried putting some of the addresses into Google Maps, because they're photographs. But still, some places I couldn't make heads or tails of what they were. So for example, the highest EDU payer is South Coast Toby
Hospital.
Hospital, 16,000. The second place is over on is it Indian Neck or someplace like that. And it looks kind of like a commercial building, but I don't know what it is. It could be a halfway house. It could
Well,
be,
that was, I believe, was a rehab. They're making a rehab out of it.
That's on Stillman Drive that you're talking about?
No, it's on Indian Neck.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, I
Before
think
the-
it's Indian Neck.
Oh,
It
yes,
was the
that's okay.
nursing home.
Yeah,
It was the
yeah,
nursing
right.
home
No, I
for a
know what-
long
I know what you
time.
mean. I didn't-
And I know
didn't
that
re-
was-
I forgot the cutoff,
Yeah,
where it goes to Stillman Drive versus,
So- that was the nursing home that's
Yeah.
being rehabbed into a rehab place.
yeah.
So the next thing I want to do is, so I've got, like I say, I've got the total EDUs, 3,641.11 EDUs, and I want to see from that what proportion of the budget that represents. To see if we were to modify the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9+ bedrooms to pay more, relatively more, and let's say the 1 bedrooms to pay relatively less, how would that work out so that we get to a net zero, or close to net zero anyway?
I see what you're saying.
That's the next step.
It's going to be an interesting exercise
Yeah.
to see where those numbers come out.
No questions about this? Well, I guess there were some
well-
questions, all right.
You've certainly set a lot of questions in mind to go forward.
That's my job, Jimmy.
But ones we're not going to answer tonight, obviously. I mean,
Right.
just what you said, looking at how do we switch, and you change the numbers between the single, which we'd like to lower to give them a break, versus the 5 through whatever.
How do I undo this now? How do I,
You want the,
I want to get off the screen.
So we don't see the baby pictures?
The kangaroo.
if you wanna move that
Yeah,
for future use,
yeah.
Shift, Windows key, and then it goes to whatever, if you have 2 screens.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you used that Windows key. Interesting. Didn't know that.
So what's the next step?
Uh,
Try to get some examples of the discrepancies and see if we can find a common ground.
That would be good if we want to do that as a group. That would be really fun.
Yeah, because I think a group might help, because we all might have a different information regarding the town and some of these addresses that come up, so you might find,
I'm going to slide this conversation over to a workshop,
Okay,
okay?
that sounds very
Sounds
workshoppy.
appropriate, yes.
Yeah. Okay. You have anything else to regale us with?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Am I supposed to?
no? I'm just asking. Never know.
Yeah, I did. I had a question. Scott, you mentioned that when you find places where the INI, where there's need of repair, you go and fix it. How do you find when there's a problem with the INI anywhere in the system?
We have a camera truck goes through.
Okay.
We can literally watch the water either bubble up or come in from a joint in the pipe or wherever a break might be.
That, you doing that like during rainstorms or?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
we'll do it whenever we can. Right now, our camera is down, so we're waiting for it to come back.
how many miles have you cambered?
The system has been cambered previously, but what we need to do now is take, you saw my request for
The new
finance.
camera truck.
Correct,
and
yeah.
equipment.
So over the next couple of years, we need to camera the entire system and upload it to a database where an engineer is then going to review it and point out things that we need to repair.
Are you focusing on some of the low-lying pipes, like down at Swift's Beach or Hammond?
Yeah, we're very fortunate, again,
Briarwood.
that one of our longest, who is our longest tenured person, has also been the camera person.
Ah.
So he has cameraed the entire system and knows where all the trouble spots are, to the point that he can tell us that the certain areas that we just have to jet quarterly to clean out the pipes because they're gonna back up, based on the pitches and rider, there's a dip in it, things like that. So or just what we see going down those pipes, we know the certain trouble spots that are gonna cause backups. So luckily, he's there to be able to guide us.
It's great to have that history.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
So I have an ancillary question. So private sewer systems like mobile home parks,
Yeah, we're not gonna be carrying that.
okay, so what if they have a problem with I&I? I mean, they could be, because it flows into the municipal sewer system.
So yeah, last year, we were trying to find issues, because I can tell you that on Kendrick, we were watching crystal clear water come down the pipe from the mobile home park. So when we contacted the owners, what had happened was a lot of the mobile homes will run water when it's really cold out, nonstop.
So the pipes don't freeze.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, they don't technically need to do that, but my guess is historically they've always done it. We didn't see the same problem this year. But what's nice is our system, because of the missions, we can go through and it gives us a report every day of pump run times and gallons that go through the plant, go through the pump stations based on pump run times. Some are metered, some are just based on pump run times, but we could see during that time period, the Kendrick lift station doubled in daily flow. So we were able to go, all right, we went manhole to manhole looking, and finally we got to the one where the mobile home park ties in, and it was just crystal clear water coming down. So that's how we were able to go backwards to find out what was going on.
It makes a difference if you have a cellar and not have a cellar. Like,
Yeah.
those things are just above the ground.
Yeah. But that's not to say, like you're saying, that they couldn't have a line break, because although it's on a hill, that doesn't make it impossible to have infiltration or inflow, in this case, to
It's
the
an
pipe.
inflow.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, I have just one more ancillary question.
Go ahead.
So let's say a private sewer system like that, a mobile home park or whatever, let's say they have a problem with I&I. So that's affecting the municipal system. Is there a way for the town to force them to fix that?
It's a fair question. I don't know. I think we would recommend it, and I don't know that there is. If I recall, we had a discussion last year regarding the bylaws, the sewer bylaws. And I believe there is a mechanism if we see abuse of the system to be able to go and indicate that there's an issue, please fix it, and then step up letters to fines to this and that. So I believe there is a way, if we can identify that there is a problem with their end of the system, to get them to take action.
Are all the pump stations cambered? I know they're monitored, but are they all cambered?
No.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions, Mr. Chair. For now.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Bob?
I am currently working on building a database which will contain everything that's been done by the Sewer Commission since its inception on May 2nd, 2015. I am currently up to I'm currently up to May of 2020. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I will be completely up to date. And when I am, it will be completely searchable for any keyword that you wish to type in and look for. IMA, for example, it'll bring up any entry having to do anything with IMA, or if we wish to pull up all the sewer superintendent's reports, we can do that. So it should be a great help to everyone, especially people coming onto the board with no previous information. And also when it comes to contract information, going forward, the questions that you had about the contract that you voted no on, we'll have that information at our fingertips, and we'll be able to see a PDF of of the contract, so we know exactly what we're voting on and what has been voted on in the past. So that should be a pretty good tool for the board.
Would you be including the amount that has been paid against a contract, or what might be outstanding? The financial component of a contract?
Only insofar as it has been provided to us or included in the minutes of the meeting.
Okay, so, all right. Just, it would be, if I look at GHD and I say, well, what was our contract for that comprehensive plan? How much have we paid against the comprehensive plan? What is the balance remaining?
Yeah, that's,
I don't remember what our contract is for them. I mean, so there is, well, you can tell us there's a contract, but we can't, your database will not be able to be linked to financial payments and balances.
no. It
Okay.
will give us the amount of the contract, so everything that appears in the PACE contract
Yep.
here going forward will be
Okay.
available. Any financial questions over what's been paid into it, we'd have to go
take it directly to
through.
accounting,
Yes.
but it will give us a
But it would-
list of which ones
It would-
to look at.
Yeah,
Yep,
you have a
and-
start place.
and hopefully we'd be able to track contracts back. So if we have one for Weston and Sampson, and it's an extension contract, we would be able to go back to the original contract, and even if there was one before that, we would be able
Because
to
I
pull
know
them all out.
accounting keeps track of what has been paid against each contract. And Judy and that company would say, I can't pay this because it exceeded the amount of money. Because I just want the public to understand, accounting is doing that component for us.
Yep. No, this will contain everything we deal with, especially with regards to the minutes. That's what I've been going off of to input all this information. And going forward, like in previous years, there were contracts that were okayed, I guess, but there's, well, I forget the names in particular, but we'll just throw Weston and Sampson out there. So there's a Weston and Sampson contract from 2018. Well, back then, things weren't as inclusive as they are now. So it'll say that Commissioner so-and-so made a motion to pass it, and then there's no information on whether there was a vote or whatever. I can only assume that it was okayed. But in the future, going forward, we will have all the information, who made the motion, who seconded it, what the vote was, and everything about the contract, a PDF, so we can see the physical contract itself, and then all the pertinent information, the start date, the end date, the extension date, the original price, the price change, the change order number, the goods and services, all of that will be loaded up and searchable. And like I said, it'll give me a couple more weeks, I think, and I will be up to date. And I would like to, it's a secondary thing, but I would like to see the sewer department get a Microsoft account so I could give the database a home within the sewer department, and various people would have read-only access to it.
Is it an access database?
It is,
Okay.
yeah. It is, and it's working out fantastic. So, and in addition to that, there's also a separate component of the meeting mechanics, I call it. So I have a separate table that includes the date of the meeting, the place of the meeting, the time of the meeting, who it was transcribed by, when it was transcribed, the roll call, who was absent, who was present, date of the next meeting, and so on, and whether anyone was appointed or voted in as a clerk pro tem. So all that information is separate, and yeah, right down to when, if the information is available to me, when the each particular meeting was adjourned. So we'll have a start time, an adjournment time, and everything about the mechanics of the meeting. So if there's any question about who was here, times and dates and places that we met, what kind of a meeting it was, whether it was a regular meeting or an executive session or a joint meeting with the board, select board, or with Bourne, that'll all be noted. So we'll have a complete record. By the time that we're done, I think that the sewer department and the Board of Sewer Commissioners will be the gold standard of information keeping within the town. I'm very confident of that.
Very good, thank you.
Would it
A lot
make,
of work.
would it make sense to, or is it possible, not sure how to frame the question, to ask the accounting office for a report on the sewer department contracts, let's say twice a year? Would they be willing to do that kind of thing?
I think that's up to Carrie to help us.
Well, we track that.
We do,
Yeah, we have to know how far we can go with the contract.
okay.
So, yeah, we track it. The contracts become a line item on the budget that we track, so.
Do you ever justify I mean, by justify, I mean, do you ever compare it with what the accounting office has to make sure that they're all the same?
Yep.
Oh, and in the future, at a future workshop, I'd like to standardize what information and the format that we have the information in, and the agendas and the minutes, just to have a clearer understanding, especially for people in the future who are going to be inputting the information into the database. I think it would be helpful. I know at some point, they changed things with doing the minutes where they would list all the subject lines that they were dealing with. So citizens' participation, for example, it would be noted, and if there were no citizen participation, it would be noted as none. Same with every other heading, sewer superintendent's report. If there was none, it would be listed as none instead of not knowing one way or the other. So
When did Kelly start doing our minutes?
within the past year, I think.
Yeah, with the last, this is April.
Who did it before Kelly?
Christiana?
Christiana.
So there's a difference as to what happened as to the presentation of the minutes, as the
Oh, yeah,
format changed.
Obviously.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
always, I
so-
mean, we had Rebecca, we had Colleen, we had Christiana, there were a bunch of people. Each have their own style, but I think that we should standardize it, maybe come up with a template for the agendas especially, so it makes it easier to come up with an agenda and also a more standardized format, so that would be good. But we can discuss that at a workshop.
Speaking of workshop, are you going to put the bylaw changes as the first agenda item on the next workshop, since we didn't get around to it last time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
point.
I will.
Thank you.
I haven't, okay. All right. Thank you, Bob. It's,
no problem.
we're on a roll. I
We
think
are.
This is gonna work well. Water line update. Can we get just a quickie overview there? I
Yeah,
know it's
that-
going well.
Yeah, they're moving along very well. A lot of electrical work is being done in one of the MCC rooms for the headworks in particular. A lot of the other electrical work is in the demo phase right now. There is one clarifier completed as far as concrete goes. The guts aren't in it, but the concrete is done. There's a full-size tank there now. The second one has 1/4 of its walls up so far. So it's moving along quite well also. They're putting in drainage, and otherwise they're moving along well. They're on schedule, if not ahead. And again, the only things that are gonna hold them up are delivering, the delivery of some of the components as they order them. So,
Okay, thank you.
Why is it called Waterline?
that's their
It's the name
name,
of the
that's their
contractor.
company name.
That's
Oh,
all
okay.
right.
You can understand why there might be confusion, right?
And just as a addendum to my report on the database, I also I'm keeping track of all the minutes on the Waterline meetings that occur every month. And when I get done with the commissioner's database, I'm going to add on to it with all the projects that we've done, at least in the past couple of years, so that, anyone here or coming onto the board will be able to look at what's been done and all the information that goes along with it, whether it's minutes or photographs or reports and presentations. So I think that would be helpful.
I agree. Thank you, Bob, and well, we still got you on front and center. Just give it an abatement.
Yeah, I can't, I was dealing with an abatement that was, it was kind of off the beaten path of your typical abatements in that it was a request for a fairly large amount of money, especially in comparison to every other abatement since 2015 that I can find. I don't want to get into it too much. It involves a situation, an issue that we should probably talk about in the future regarding private sewer systems. Since I started working on the database, I found more information with regards to this particular abatement request, which was quite helpful, and I think we'll be talking about that as well. But I really don't want to say too much about it because I think Scott will probably be having some interaction as far as this property is concerned, so that's all I have for you now.
The abatement information in the past has always been part of our minutes, and now they're no longer will be. Were they
Well-
being recorded somewhere so they can be referenced?
Yeah,
Because it's always been part of our minutes and not any longer.
I think, well, the original intent, I think when I was given the task of doing abatements, I think it got a little confused because the original idea was for me to just go over known customers, repeat abatements for a project that Scott was going to do, and somehow it morphed into me handling abatements, which I'm not quite comfortable with it. I mean, I'm good with it, but I think overall it should be handled by the board as a group rather than just one person. So, like I said, it has only involved me in 4 abatements so far, and the other 3 were pretty cut and dry, typical abatement, not a big deal. But the 4th one called for a little bit of homework and dealing with a greater amount of money. I think that it would probably be better handled by the entire board.
Because in February
Okay, well, on the
27th, 25,
the next
we,
board, next meeting that we have, you and I can talk before that, but if that's something that you want to drop and put it back the way it was.
Yeah, I think it should probably go back to the way it was. Yeah, historically, it's always been the board's responsibility, and I think it shouldn't be in the hands of one person, so
Okay, well,
certainly I
I'll
can't be
put it
trusted
the
on my
agenda
own.
For the next meeting, and then we can vote on it.
Yeah.
Wasn't the idea that just for routine stuff, I mean, things that
Yeah.
we wouldn't hardly even look at it, we would just approve it because it's just so,
Yeah, most of them are very routine, and most of them historically have followed along the lines of the superintendent's recommendation. So,
I
I
think that
mean,
was the intent when we asked you to
Yeah.
do that, was just handle and then anything that was unusual or
Mhm.
difficult, just bring it to the
Yeah.
rest of the commission.
Because we said February 27th, we said appoint the vice chair to work with Scott to handle abatements.
mhm.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, that was, we can talk about it later, but that was for a kind of a separate project that Scott was going to work on. It wasn't, I don't think the intent was for every abatement that would come up. It was for a certain subsection of abatements, but at any rate, the one that we're talking about here, I think we know between Scott and I which way it needs to go. I don't really want to talk about it publicly until you've had a chance to talk to the property owner and
Is there a
make the
chance
position known.
we can see the abatement request
Yes,
We'll have it for the next.
Emails.
Next meeting,
prior to the meeting?
prior to it, yep.
day before.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
we can take a look at
Mhm.
Yeah, as
what's
long as
being...
you don't discuss it by email, it's okay.
Yeah, and I also have some background information that goes back a number of years that is pertinent to this
Exactly.
discussion.
Okay.
Absolutely is. Okay. All right. Thanks, Bob.
No problem.
Scott, Kay, his report.
Yeah, the team continues to work very well together. There's so much getting accomplished at the plant, it's unbelievable. We did a lot of electrical work over the last couple of weeks, getting systems up and running, trying not to leave one component working in spite of another. So we're really trying to get everything working the way it's supposed to. In fact, I was talking to one of the water line electricians today, and he's like, I don't even know how this place runs. But it's really not that bad. It's just a matter of a lot of hands have been in different panels and messing with things, so I'm really trying to straighten things out best I can. Otherwise, again, the crew's just working amazing together, so couldn't be happier. We did accomplish, I said that last time, but we cleaned all those clarifiers, and they're all balanced now and working very well. Yeah, that's about it.
I actually found mention of the clarifiers possibly being taken down and cleaned. But no follow-up on that.
So,
I think it was 2018.
again, historically, they had been taken down and cleaned, but what we did, we gutted it. Or the crew did. I actually stood up and just kind of watched, but they were working really hard. And they were actually able to take inspections plates out and clean out, I don't know how many years of rags, but I don't even know how some of the flow was actually getting through the clarifiers, or to the clarifiers. There was so much rags.
Well, as an aside, I have to say I was impressed watching them work inside one of those clarifiers, cleaning it out and what they were doing. Oh, it was
Yeah,
incredible.
well done.
So they're-
But we can get a lot done now that we have a crew, and not just a bunch of people, but people that they're working well together and learning on the job, and some people have some great experience, so we're building off of those people, and like I said, it's just progressing so well.
Yeah, and now you're starting to get ahead of things, so that's nice.
Or at least they're trying to catch up.
Yeah, well, I feel like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel as far
Mhm.
as the catch-up process, but
Yeah.
it's not quite as onerous walking in every day.
The water shutoffs. Onset Wareham.
We went through Anita and, Anita had gone through the list there and found 19 of the 30 that were previously on the hold report. that needed to get put back on, which was good, so they were put back on. So Anita went and cross-referenced with the water department to see what was actually had water restored. And the good news was, of the 19, they were all within the last month or so that they were turned on.
So they weren't years.
No, we didn't see that.
So 19 of the 30 will be billed.
Yes.
What about the other 11?
The water's still shut off.
Oh, because the water department said 30 had been turned on, and
A part of that too, and is talking with Anita, that some of those are burned out, they're shells, there's not anything that's habitable. It's a vacant lot.
but if the water department says 30 have had the water turned on,
They didn't, no, they didn't say that. They said this, we just got through saying that there are 19 that we've turned back, that they've turned back on.
okay. When the water department gave me the list, there were 30 with tied in. And
What-
I'm asking, what about the
What water
11?
department?
Huh?
What water department?
When I went to them,
Which water department?
Wareham.
Went to both, there was 10.
I never
there
went to
was-
Onset, I went to Wareham.
Yeah, there was 9 in Wareham and 10 in Onset.
Right.
So what are those other 11?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's at least 25 they told me where water was turned on. I
Okay.
can give you this list.
Maybe they didn't make this list because they were already taken off hold.
Okay, because I had a billing hold report that we did when we were working in a workshop.
Yep, I have it here.
And this was October 30th, 24. That's what the list I was working with.
Yep, we have your notes right here.
Okay,
She went through each one.
because I don't think I shared this with you.
Not that, no, this must have your notes on it, these sheets. So, we have,
Why don't I give you a copy of what I have, and you just make sure that we're talking the same people?
okay,
So that's, you got 19 in which we started to build them, which we hadn't been. And they're only about a year old. They've only had the water for a year,
okay.
except for the 19,
No, less than a year.
less than a year. So we'll be getting retroactive bills.
I believe that is the case.
Now, is there, okay, I was gonna say, should I know who the 19 is so I can make sure they're off my list, or not bother?
Why don't we take this list and match it up with this list, and
Okay.
we'll make sure.
All right. Because I didn't get to onset, but you did.
Well, I think
Your
you,
people did.
yeah, again, it was, Anita put the effort in. So we seem to have the right list. It was broken up into, the account number and then split to Onset and Wareham.
Thank you.
Oh, and then, the last thing, sorry, with the,
Right.
with the pumpers that had the outstanding balances, one with a plus and one with a minus. It would appear that it's actually been accounting errors, and both are actually not existent. So, the Pure Flow is still in, business. The other one is not, Barboza.
Barboza.
So they are not in business anymore.
Right.
And again, when we went back to the treasurer and accountant, it looks like just either billing error or the way it was recorded.
So you're satisfied with the outcome of that, then?
Yeah,
Neither one needs to be pursued any further?
no.
Okay, thank you.
So no further action? Is there a chance we can get a constant update on the IMA?
We're not doing anything on the IMA at the moment.
Do we have one in effect? Or did it became,
That became.
it died?
That, well, it's in effect, but it's mushed over because Derek got involved. Remember when he made that switch? Maybe you don't remember. He made the switch from us billing them the way we were to a flat fee that we're billing now.
Do we have a contract with Bourne?
Yeah, still in effect.
Yeah, and I work with my counterpart over there, and we've gone through, you know, how we're billing and what we're billing.
Is there anything we have to do?
At this point, no.
No
Actually,
action?
there's nothing we can do at this point.
No
What
action?
I would like to see us do going forward, when it fits in right, is to redo the IMA, the agreement, let me rephrase it, with Bourne, with Scott's input and ours, to find out, to first of all shrink down what it was, because the contract that exists was put together by the engineers originally, so.
And what's the time frame for that review?
5 years ago,
So we'll put in the minutes, nothing's happening.
at the moment. We're
No action to be taken.
not at the moment. All right, do we have any unanticipated items that have come in? Nothing from my standpoint, but Scott, no? Okay, pass that one over. Our next meeting date is the 8th of May, 1 o'clock at 6 Tony's Lane, and a workshop to follow. Meeting first, workshop to follow.
Is there a chance we can see the agendas before they're actually posted on the town website in case we want to add something?
If they're put, it's sent out to you,
This was not.
well, we had a little problem today, this time. Remember, Monday was a holiday. So you had,
So they couldn't gone out Thursday
oh, they could have if they were done.
or early Tuesday morning?
They did.
Never came to us.
I know they went out, I was standing next to her when she sent them.
She did not, there was nothing, there was no email sent to me. I only saw it because I get notice when it's posted on the town website.
I'll ask Anita, but I'm sure she sent it to you.
Because I would love to have a chance to
I'm
add
sure she
something
sent-
in
well,
case.
that's what it's sent out for. That's the reason I send them out then.
Did anybody get one?
I'm
Was-
checking.
No.
Because I never had a chance. All of a sudden, it got posted on the town website.
What was the time? Well, I couldn't.
Scott, you're checking?
I'm checking.
I couldn't do it till Tuesday morning, so she sent it out straight to them, and you should have sent them both out at the same time, both to you and to.
Never got an email.
Oh,
Only
sorry.
notice I got came from the
Sorry,
town.
Sorry. Follow that one up.
Yeah, April 22nd, I got it
From them,
from Anita.
April 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
And who is the distribution?
To Sewer Commissioners Distribution. Sewer Commissioners at wareham.mass.us.
And what date? The 22nd?
Tuesday, the 22nd at 2:45 PM.
But that was already posted. That we didn't get it ahead of time to make
I
a
don't know,
change
I'm just telling
to
you
it.
when I got it.
Yeah. I got it at the same time.
Okay, but that's being it was posted, not ahead of time.
Seems it has to get posted 54 hours now instead of 48. You didn't get it ahead of time because it went out at the same time. You had to make the time frame.
But if you,
If I had done it the last
No.
week, the way you want, well, you would have got it then, but I didn't do
Jimmy,
it
wait
then.
a
I did it at
second.
the beginning of the week.
They'd sent another note saying 54, but you can do it 48 if we've got the time.
I never saw that
54
one.
is not required.
I
That
didn't
was
get-
the latest update from the
Okay, well,
town.
I didn't get that, so I'm still, we were working at that point on 54. That was the problem. So,
Yeah,
since
because,
she got it done, I just told her, just send it to everybody at the same time.
If you had gotten that email 60 hours before time, you would have known about the 54 being changed to 48.
That's a good point. You're
Okay.
absolutely
I
correct.
just want that included in the record. Hi, Kelly. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
and the time
Aye.
is, please, what time?
7:47 PM.
And could we make a final note that the clerk missed her duty, shirked on it.
Hey,
She didn't make the,
Well, the meeting is closed, I think, with no more discussion.
I have to put her on the
Thank-
next meeting, that she shirked her duties at this one.